Wicked winter weather affecting much of the country. Who's next in line to get another blast of cold and snow? Looking for a job? Why, the holiday season may actually help you land that perfect gig. A very tough lesson to learn for one suspected thief. Why he's likely to never steal again. Actor Alec Baldwin's temper and the friendly skies. Not a good combo. You won't believe what got him kicked off a plane. Your tree is decorated. Now it's time to dye your dog. It's the latest Christmas craze for your canine. Your Independent News Network starts right now.
Hello everyone, I'm Mike Mickle. Welcome to INN News. We now know the fate of former Illinois Governor Rod Blagojevich. Today in Chicago, a judge sentenced him to 14 years for his corruption conviction. Blagojevich tried to sell former Senator Barack Obama's Senate seat. He had asked the judge for leniency, saying he's already lost everything except for his family who needs him. He could have received up to 20 years in prison. Now to the latest on some wicked winter weather from the southwest to the northeast and points in between. The northeast has just recovered from Snowtober after some cities received 2 feet of snow earlier this fall. Now Old Man Winter's targeting them again with the threat of perhaps a lot more snow in some parts, perhaps even a foot. This coming from a system that left a swath of snow across the country. It began in the southwest. In Roswell, New Mexico, snow shut down interstates and closed schools. Snow doesn't usually fall there until January or February. The system moved on to Texas, covering many cities there in white. And black ice in El Paso caused problems for drivers not at all used to those conditions. In Arkansas, slippery conditions also made it tough for people to stay on the roads. Tow truck drivers were busy responding to dozens of accidents in the Springdale area alone. Well, Mexico says it has broken up a plot to smuggle the son of late Libyan dictator Muammar Gaddafi into the country. We have more details in tonight's Global News Now.
Muammar Gaddafi's son and his family were looking to make a move to Mexico, but that won't happen now after Mexican intelligence agents learned of the plan to secretly bring them in. At least 3 people are accused of opening bank accounts and buying property for Gaddafi using false documents and names. He and his family left Libya. They're living under house arrest in Western Africa. Researchers now say the wall of water that struck Japan in March was the result of at least 2 waves that combined to create a powerful tsunami. A 9.0 magnitude earthquake off the coast of Japan triggered it. Nearly 16,000 people died as a result of the quake and tsunami. Meanwhile, some radioactive material has been found in baby formula following the nuclear crisis at the Fukushima plant following that tsunami. The maker of the formula found traces of samples in its step milk powder. Apparently the levels would not be harmful to babies. The company is offering free replacements though. And that's your Global News Now.
Former Penn State assistant coach Jerry Sandusky is facing yet another molestation allegation. A Pennsylvania man says Sandusky gave him alcohol and then sexually abused him when he was 12. He says they met through a children's charity the former coach founded. Sandusky has not been charged in connection with the new allegation, but he is facing charges and 8 others. He says he's innocent and he only horsed around with the disadvantaged boys in his care. Now to the latest on the miraculous survival of former model Lauren Scruggs after she walked right into the spinning blades of a plane's propeller. Lauren's recovering right now in a Texas hospital, speaking her first words since the accident. Doctors say it will be a long road ahead for the 23-year-old. The plane's propeller sliced off her left hand and severely slashed her shoulder and face. She may still lose her left eye.
We're just praying that her left eye would regain its sight, and you know, it's gonna be a long recovery.
Well, many are wondering how that accident could have happened, but it was dark when she got off the plane on Saturday. Propellers spin fast and can be tough to see at night. The plane is a friend of the Scruggs family who had taken Lauren up to look at Christmas lights. More than 100,000 porn sites are now live with the .xxx domain name. Internet regulators came up with the .xxx to make porn sites easier to identify. The intent, in part, is to help parents protect their kids from viewing adult content. It is estimated 40 million Americans are regular visitors to porn sites, bringing in almost $3 billion a year in the U.S. Well, avoiding ATM fees by watching ads and what app you will not be able to download if you have Verizon. Here's Ryan Bass with your Back to Business.
Will your next purchase be debit or credit? Credit card transaction company First Data says more of you are choosing credit more. For the last 2 years, people were more likely to use debit, but now they're getting back to pre-recession buying habits. ATM users could soon be able to avoid fees by agreeing to watch an advertisement. The ad would play while the transaction is being processed and would run about 10 seconds, or customers can choose to not view the ad and pay the ATM surcharge. Additionally, at the bottom of the ATM receipt, there may be a coupon which could be redeemed at local businesses. The idea is being tested at one ATM in the New York area. Verizon is blocking customers from downloading the Google Wallet app for their smartphones. Google Wallet lets users store their credit and rewards card information on their phones to use in stores and online. Verizon and several other carriers have teamed up to create their own version. Verizon claims there's a problem in Google Wallet's technology. Google says Verizon asked the company not to include it on the new Galaxy Nexus phone. For your Back to Business, I'm Ryan Bass.
Well, just 9 years old and kicked out of school for sexual harassment. It happened to a little boy in Gaston County, North Carolina. He's seen here with his mother. He was suspended for 2 days last week after he said his teacher was cute. The school system called it sexual harassment, but the school board this week reversed that ruling. A letter of apologies being sent to the student and his parents. Officials say the suspension will not count against him. Well, kids who grow up on a farm usually start working on it very young, but the United States Department of Labor wants to change that. As Clark Young from our Omaha affiliate KPTM explains, fewer farm hands now could mean fewer farmers later.
Farming in Nebraska. For many kids that grow up on a farm, they begin helping from as young as they can remember.
I guess it's an experience most people don't get to know until like they're older. Like I can know how to work and do something before I have to even get a formal education.
The National Safety Council says that nearly 29 out of every 100,000 farm workers die on the job, which makes farming one of the most dangerous occupations.
I mean, the main thing is we want them to be kids and have fun, but they also need to know that they're part of the family and help the family.
So the U.S. Department of Labor is proposing that child farm workers shouldn't be able to use big equipment like tractors or work with livestock until they are 16 years old. The Nebraska Farmers Union is worried that when you force kids to wait until they're 16, it might prevent them from ever wanting to get into farming at all.
Well, farm kids traditionally are responsible kids because they're used to doing work and they're used to being responsible.
A farming company in Hastings says they hire nearly 2,000 people every summer to help farm, and about 72% of them are under the age of 16.
While we want to keep farm kids safe, we also don't want to discourage farm kids from being farm kids.
Hansen adds that young kids learning to farm is such an important learning experience in their life that it would be a shame to deprive them of that. Clark Young reporting for INN News.
The U.S. Labor Department is taking feedback from every state on that proposed rule. It will make a decision after reviewing each state's stance. Well, this accused robber is back in jail after he apparently picked the wrong person to target. The 24-year-old has 2 black eyes and bruises on his face after police say he pulled a gun on a driver in Chicago Friday night. Turns out the would-be victim was trained in mixed martial arts. The convicted felon got roughed up, as you can see. At one point during the scuffle, he accidentally shot himself in the ankle. He's now facing armed robbery charges. Well, even the celebrities are addicted to their words with friends. It's not just you. Actor Alec Baldwin was kicked off an American Airlines flight from LAX to JFK for refusing to stop playing the game after the plane's doors closed. Baldwin was eventually removed from the flight and took another plane to New York, but the passengers who were on the original flight with Baldwin, well, they're speaking out.
He was on his phone and he didn't want to get off the phone. Then he snuck into the bathroom and became a little bit irate, and they had to remove him from the flight.
He's very rude, caused us to be delayed, not very considerate. Just not a very unselfish man.
Baldwin's spokesman says the actor loves the game so much he was willing to leave the plane to play. Baldwin has since tweeted that he will not fly American Airlines again. Culinary students are learning to prepare your favorite comfort foods the healthy way. We'll show you how coming up. And if you're out of work, it may be hard to enjoy the holidays. So use the holidays to your benefit. Why this time of year may be the best to score that perfect job. And as people begin decorating their homes for the holidays, some are including man's best friend in a colorful way. More on these stories when INN returns.